Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm meadsy69. Welcome back to the channel. And again, we go back to the auction. Now, the first round of the auction, if we just go all across, you know, there's still going to be more rounds happening, but we're just going to see what tanks there were, and let's just talk about them. So I wasn't impressed, to be fair. A couple of the tier 10s, okay, the T22, you got the K91, yeah, meh. The Kampf Panzer 70, which is okay, and of course we had the Chieftain Mark 6. But other than them, there wasn't a crazy amount of good tanks, to be fair. And a lot of them, I think some of them, I don't even think sold. There was still some, the last time I looked, there was still some left over. Now you can see there's quite a few tanks still to come, but we're only going to look at this round, what's in the store at the moment. So you got the T55, and of course we're going to go through each one, and we're going to go through whether I think it's a good price, whether I think you should wait, or whether I think you should just leave it. So the T55A, basically a T54, but a premium version. Now currently that is 10,000 gold. Now the way to look at it really is you're looking at around 20,000 gold for a tier 10 tank that comes in to store, and you're probably looking at around, I'd say 10,000 gold, because sometimes you can get the tier 10 for 15,000 gold without the camo, etc. So you are kind of looking at around 10,000 gold for a tier 9, around 8,000 gold for a tier 8, and then probably 7,000 or 6,000 for a tier 7. That's where I kind of look at things. So currently the T55 and the TL7 120 are both at 10,000 gold. Now, personally, I don't think they're good enough, especially for that price. Now, the next price drop, it's only dropping 250 gold for the T55A and 500 gold for the TL. Now, even that, personally, I don't think is great. Now I know I said you're looking at around 10,000 gold for tier 9s, but that's in the ordinary shop. That's not in an auction. In the auction you get things cheaper. So I would personally, for something like the T55A, I wouldn't pay no more than 8,000. Again, I know you're looking at tier 9, but you know, you've got to look at the skill of the tank as well and how good the tank is, and I don't think these tanks are brilliant. So I would probably prefer maybe the TL7. I haven't played it that much over the T55A, because you know the T55A is okay, but you just go and buy the Tech Tree T54, which is pretty much just the same, if not better. So yeah, I would probably go for the TL, but not at that price. I would personally wait a little bit, and if it goes to around 8,000, then I would pay 8,000 for one of them. But yeah, they're not the best tier 9s in the game. And, you know, hopefully in the next auction, there are going to be better tier 9s out there. But, yeah, I would probably stay away from these, especially at that price. Next up, we've got the WZ122TM. Now, again, it's a tier 8 tank currently for 8,000. So if you wait for at least the next round at 7,500, it's an okay price. But again, just like the other two, it's not the best tier 8 tank in the game. So even at that, I probably wouldn't even pay for that, to be honest. I would wait even for maybe the next round. So if it goes down to 7,000, then maybe. But all three tanks so far are three tanks that I would personally, if you do want like one of them, I would just wait until the time's nearly up, because you want to pay the least amount possible for all three of these, really, because all three of them are not the greatest of tanks. Now the M4Y, again, it's not the best tank. It's okay, you know, it's not bad, and for 7,500 gold to start off with is pretty decent. Now bear in mind, by the time this video is released, it is going to be another price drop. I'm making this video Saturday morning, so Sunday morning when I release it, it will probably be 7,000 gold. But again, another tank to add to the three that I've already shown is I would personally wait. There's loads left at the minute, you know, 2,800 left. So I would just keep waiting for these if you want one of them tanks for the lowest price possible. Now, here is a tank that I do love, the Scorpion G. I think it's a great tank, and I still wouldn't pay 8,500 for it in auction for it. But if you look at the price drop, I mean, it dropped 1,500 gold. So at 7,000, I could be probably looking, thinking, you know what, that's actually a good price for the Scorpion G. But I definitely would wait until at least the next round for the Scorpion G. But for 7,000 gold, I would consider buying that. But again, don't just buy it because it's there. Don't just look in the auction and think, oh my God, the Scorpion G, I've always wanted it, bang, buy it. You know, just be patient. It will go down. I know you want it there and then, but be patient and it will drop. You know, I believe 2,800 are not going to be sold before the price drops to 7,000. So it might even drop even cheaper than the 7,000. So we've actually got a good tank that I like, the Scorpion G. Next up, the M4 1D. I like this tank. I think, you know, I don't mind it. It's a fun little light tank. Of course, it doesn't have any armor, so you do need to be careful when you play it. But for just 3,500 gold, and again, it's going to drop. It's going to drop. So it's another tank that just wait, and you will be able to get that for cheaper. But it is a fun tank. Next up, the AMX-30B. Now, I've been critical of the AMX-30B over the years, you know, because it's kind of been left. All the other tanks have been buffed, all the mediums have been buffed, where the AMX-30B has kind of been left. And I did say in a previous video that I do think it's the worst tier 10 medium in the game. And I still agree with that. I still agree with that. It can be fun. You can obviously have good battles, but I'm looking at it because once I tested it, and it was very, very good when we tested it, and then Wargaming over the years have kind of just sort of left it, gave it little buffs here and there. I don't think it's on par with a lot of the other mediums. If you look at something like the E50M, of course, it's not an E50M, it's completely different, but I still think it falls behind some mediums. But you can get this for just 15,000 gold, and like I said, if you look in the shop, the standard price without the camouflage, etc., is probably around 15,000 gold. So that it's not dropping it that quick either, 2,700. So you will be able to get this even cheaper. So it's still a decent tank. It is a decent tank. I don't think it's like a poor tank. I just think it's not on par with some of the other mediums. But, you know, again, it is a tier 10 tank. And if you can get it for 14,000 or even cheaper, I do think that's actually a good buy. Moving on to another tier 10, the Concept 1B. Now, the Concept 1B, I think, is a great tank. It all depends on how you play it and the positions you put this on. It has an amazing turret, so if you can get on a ridge, then it is a very, very good tank. Now, there is 2,000 left, so a lot less left on this tank than there is all the other tanks, so it is dropping quick. But the starting, I mean, it's only 14,000 gold, so that is still a good buy. And if you can wait until this video is released, and it's still there, it's going to be 13,000 gold. So I think 13,000 gold for that is actually a really, really good buy. And so far, I do think this is the buy of the auction at the moment. If you can get it for 13,000 gold. So yeah, that is one I would definitely be looking out for. Next up, the T4485. It's okay, nothing special. Again, 4,000, I probably wouldn't pay that, to be fair. Again, it's one of them tanks, it doesn't even look like it's selling. Still 3,000 left. I would wait till the very, very end with the T4485. It's not the best tank, it's not the worst, but yeah, I wouldn't pay that. I would wait till the very, very end to get that tank, if I get it at all, to be fair. It's not something I'd look at thinking, yeah, you know, let's see, that's a tank where I probably would I would leave. The same as the IS-3 Defender. Now, once upon a time, the IS-3 Defender in an auction was the best seller. Now, it's just not selling. People don't want it. It's not as fun as it used to be. For 8,500 gold starting price as well, yeah, that will get cheaper. This was one of the most expensive tier 8 tanks back in the day. Everybody everybody wanted it. And I get it, because, you know, it's an IS-3 with an autoloader, and it was the first of its kind. Never see anything like this tank back in the day, so everybody wanted it. And Wargaming could make the most out of that and sell it for 20,000 gold, 15,000 gold crates, you know. Where now, look at it's in the auction and nobody wants it. 8,500 gold. But, you know, still a decent tank to have in your garage, but just nowhere near the same as it used to be. So that is it for this round. Again, as I said, definitely the Concept 1B is the buy of this round. So we'll be back in the next few days. When did this end? I think it ends in 7 days or something like that. So we'll be back. We'll be back for the next round to see if there are even better tanks. But if you're asking me, definitely, as I've said, the Concept 1B for a tier 10, for that price, 13,000 gold, even at that stage, is definitely worth it. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know if you've bought any tanks in this auction so far. But for now, hope you enjoyed it. I'm Meadsy, and I'll catch you all soon. Bye-bye.